Trial of former eThekwini Mayor Zandile Gumede is set to begin at the High Court in Durban. She and 21 others are accused, to remind you, of involvement in the fraud and corruption of a Durban solid waste management tender that was worth over 300 million rand. Dasen Thatiah, senior reporter, tracking the story for us. Hello to you, Dasen. Let's bring everyone up to speed. Why today are we back in court? There's been quite a few delays, hasn't there? Looks like it might get underway.
Well, one can hope, Gareth, and it's been a long time getting here over the past probably 3 years or so, since 2019. That's when the former mayor was arrested, and we've seen several court appearances since then. Last month, we were here at the High Court for the pre-trial conference, and the indication from the state then was that they were ready to proceed. There were a few issues on the side of the defense, and that was relating to, in particular, the issue around, for example, some of the accused not being able to access their monies to pay their legal representatives. In one case, one of the accused not even having a legal representative at all. So those are some of the issues that had come up previously. There were also certain particulars that needed to be exchanged between the two. But over the past few years, you know that this has been said several times when it's come to court. It's been relating to that DSW tender, and this was meant to be for the purpose of cleaning up some of the townships as well as the street cleaning, and that the value of that tender ballooned over several years. It had started at about 45 million, ending up at about 320 million. And the former mayor here, who's accused number one, Zandile Gumede, is accused of running a criminal enterprise, and by using employees and some of the contractors for the municipality to carry that out so they could move money allegedly between themselves. The former mayor here is accused of receiving almost 3 million rand in kickbacks, and she's just one of those that had received such monies. So the system here, Gareth, was quite an interesting one about how it was done. According to the state's case, and this is what they'll have to prove, is that they had these entities set up in different areas, some from within the municipality, others that were contracted to them, and they somehow moved this money between bank accounts of relatives and each other in different forms, whether it was in gifts, whether it was in cash, and ultimately that's the accusation, that they were allegedly running a criminal enterprise.
And as we have seen at previous court appearances as well, with Zandile Gumede, we can expect quite a few local supporters as well.
That's the expectation. We are not seeing too many just yet, but court is only expected to get underway at about 10 o'clock. There are just a few journalists here, but I must also mention that there have been some issues around accreditation. Not the first time. I know in previous court appearances there were also these types of challenges, leaving the media very frustrated, because you know it is a high-profile case and it is in the public interest. But even as we stand here now, all of the journalists that we speak to have not been granted that accreditation. But we'll be keeping an eye on things here. We'll also be trying to get answers around that to see if we are able to get inside before the court case gets underway at about 10 o'clock. That's when the former mayor, as well as those other 21 accused, are expected to be here in court today.
I see Zandile Gumede also speaking out just before this court trial, just before this court appearance as well, saying, and I quote from the Daily Maverick, "I did not deal with the supply chain. The issue is with the city's administration and contractors, not with politicians." Fighting words coming into this court case.
And that's been her message throughout this entire saga. From the beginning, she's always said that she had nothing to do with it, that she's just been scapegoated, that it really wasn't her. But what the state is alleging is that she was the head. She was the one that was in charge. People answered to her. She had a certain degree of influence, and that is why she's been listed as accused number one. That is why she has had, or is being accused of having had that control of almost putting pressure on the people below her to make those decisions and to appoint those contractors and to circumvent certain processes, ultimately resulting in all of that money moving within that small group. And this happened over a space of time, over a few years, and through smaller jobs that had happened since about 2016 or so.
And Dasen Thatiah will come back to you again later. Hopefully accreditation has been sorted out. Senior reporter Dasen Thatiah on that story for us. Zandile Gumede.